Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Midnight Miners channel. In tonight's episode, we are going to take this guy apart and clean the thermal paste on it and replace it with new one, and then install it in one of our rigs and see how it does. I just purchased this one used. It's a GTX 1660 Ti made by HP. I like these ones. I have two other ones exactly like this, and they do around 31.5 mega hash. The power consumption, I think it's 75 to 80 watts per card, which is not bad. But I just purchased this one. It just came in. I actually paid $247 for it altogether with shipping and tax and everything included. It came up to about $247 for this guy. It doesn't look bad. It looks okay, but with every card that I get, I like to take them apart, clean them up, replace the thermal paste on it, and then put them back together and see how they do. So we are going to take this one apart, clean it up, and then put it back together. So let's get started. Alright, so let's take these screws off and see what we got going on in here. I'm not expecting this card to be very dirty, but you never know with this. I took the 4 screws out. I got 3 more on this side. By the way, I've done this so many times on other cards that I just put the screws wherever. It doesn't matter to me. I already know where they go. But what I suggest to anybody that's starting out right now, if you have a work area, once you take the screws off the board, just try to create a pattern. That's how I started. That's how I learned to begin with. Kind of like put them somewhere, just the way I took them out. That way I don't get to misplace them or try to put them somewhere else. So in this instance over here, you can take these 4 that you took out of here and just lay them down the way you took them out, and the same thing goes for these other 3 that go here. They are different sizes, so you got to be careful with that. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you do this. Also make sure you don't lose them. So let's just, for this video, let's just leave them the way they are right now, and we'll see how it goes. Once you take these screws apart, I like to flip it over on one side and try to wiggle it a little bit. It will come off. Might be. I don't think it. This card. I don't think it was ever taken apart. So let's just. Oh, there we go. Don't pull too hard on it, because you will have the one cable for the fan that's sitting in here. Let me see if I can point you to it. It's this guy. So the way I took it apart, I tried to pry it open from this end, like so. And once I got this off, I can hold it and see where the cable is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take it apart and take it out. They don't give you too much cable to work with, so you got to be very careful not to mess this one up. A little bit of wiggle on it. Sometimes tweezers might work. These ones in particular, these HP ones, are quite small, and they don't give you much room to work with. So we disconnected this. So in this one, once we take it apart, and you can see you have the thermal pads on them. They look fairly new, to be honest with you. I just don't like, I think it's just too much thermal paste on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. Also clean this one up. And reapply new paste and put it back together. So what I like to use to clean these ones up is rubbing alcohol. I have a bottle just laying around, and I use a lot of Q-tips. Just makes it easier for me, at least. When you start cleaning it, you'll see it comes off fairly easy. On this one, the thermal paste was a little bit dry, from what I can tell. Don't understand why. It might be. Keep in mind, this is not a brand new card. It is new to me, but it's not a new card. So you might encounter other situations where your thermal paste might have just been replaced by the person that sold you the card, or you know, all that. Even if the person tells me that they just replaced the thermal paste on them, as soon as I get the card in, I still replace it myself. I still like to clean it. It gives me a better understanding of the card that I got. I get to see what's going on it, inside, and make sure it's all good to go. I've had one card in particular, I believe it's a GTX 1080, that I purchased, and the person said, oh yeah, I just replaced the thermal paste on it and everything else, and it got here, and as soon as I plugged it in, it started heating up. It overheated to the point where in less than 30 seconds it was already at 80 degrees. So luckily I was paying attention. I turned it off, pulled it off the rig, and as soon as I took it apart, the thermal paste was so dry that it literally crumbled as soon as I pulled the card apart. So yeah, you might want to pay attention and replace your thermal paste on your cards. I like to do mine every 3 to 4 months, depending on if I have enough time. I'll do it more often, but usually 3 to 4 months. That's my rule. That's what I do. Might not be the right way, but so this is all cleaned up right now. I don't really see any issues with the card. I don't see any damage to it. And a little bit of dust here and there, but I don't see any problems with this one. Hopefully it works well and stays cool. The other ones that I have, they're running around right now they're running, I believe, at 54 degrees. And the fan, I don't set the fans on them higher than 80. So hopefully everything's gonna be just fine once we put this back in, and we'll see how it does. I'm not expecting it to be running hot. So with this one, cleaning the thermal paste off of this was applied. It's pretty thick for what we got going on. I mean, you can see here, look at that. It's a lot. It's quite a lot of paste in here, and I wouldn't use as much. This might also have been done in the factory, not by the person that sold it. I'm not sure, but these thermal pads are they just feel fresh to me. Once you grab a thermal pad, you will know if it's old. It has a different feel to it. I don't really see any dust inside of it on the heatsink at all. It looks fairly clean to me. So we're gonna leave it like that. We're gonna grab our thermal paste. Alright, so the thermal paste that I use is Arctic Silver 5. I bought this off of Amazon. I believe I paid $9 for 2 of these. They came in a pack. That's what I use on all the GPUs. So it is right in here. Let's see if you guys can see it. If it would focus. One day I'll get a better camera. But yeah, this is what I use. As always, this is the way I like to put thermal paste on it. I'll put a little bit on either corner and then in the middle. People are different about how they do it. Come on. That's just my my way of doing this. I can take it and spread it a little bit. I don't know why I'm weird about it. I'd like to see it covered before I put the heatsink on it. Keep in mind, I'm not squeezing anything else. I'm just spreading whatever I had on it slightly, not even touching the chip. Just kind of smearing everything around and having it covered a little bit. That is in. What I like to do at this point is try to connect, and this is going to be a pain. I'm going to try to connect this wire. It's not that much fun when you have a little bit of space over here to work with, but you got to work it out. There we go. That's in, I think. I hope. And from there, if I flip it around, I can line these up pretty good, so I don't have to worry about everything just touching other parts. There you go. Same as always, grab the screws that you put on your table earlier. Same pattern. I like to do a cross pattern on it. That's just the way I was taught to tighten anything in a cross pattern. Don't over tighten these. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on. You'll feel when your screwdriver is going to give you some resistance, and you can just stop and move to the next one. It doesn't have to be too tight. You don't want it too tight. That way you have a little bit of paste in between the heatsink and your chip. If you over tighten this, there's a chance that that thermal paste will squeeze out as you tighten everything more. It will just push it all out, and you won't have much in between. You don't have to have a lot, but you need something in between that to be safe. Come on. Yeah, one of my dogs actually chewed my screwdriver that I was using for all the cards, so I have to use this one. But there you go. This one's put back together, cleaned up. So I'll plug it in, and we'll see how it does. I'll be back in a second. And we are back, guys. It took me a little bit of time to put everything back together, and I also realized that I had a bad riser in this particular rig. So this is the one card that we just put in. This, there we go, much better now, huh? So this is the one card that we put in, this HP. It's pulling 31.49 mega hash, 56. It's running at 56 right now. The fan is set at 80, and these are the overclocks. This one rig that I have here is a mix of other cards that I had, but there's a couple of 1660 Ti's, a Superb, the 1080s, a 2060, a 1060, 580. These are extra cards that I had, and while I was waiting for another motherboard to come in, I kind of like just put everything on one of the other motherboards that I had here, and just wanted to run all the cards in the meantime while I wait for something better. But for right now, this one is running at 57. The same one that I have, it's the identical card, fan at 80, same overclocks and everything, is running at 55. So it's about a 2-degree difference in it. It's not bad. They're pulling the exact same mega hash, so I'm happy with that. For, like I said, for under $250 card, I'm really happy with it. I recommend getting them if you can find them for that kind of price. So yeah, for right now, that would be everything, guys, for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, and if you find anything useful out of this video, please let me know. If I made some mistakes, also leave a comment down below. Tell me how I can improve if you want something different. Other than that, I would say that would be everything for right now, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the next one.